These cartridges are perfectly legal when they are used as intended. Good morning to you, Aaron. The preps are well underway. Check this out. I'm standing in the middle of Pennsylvania. Typically, you can't do that on a Saturday morning. High water, obviously, still causing problems for folks in this neighborhood. That breaking news we begin with is coming out of Shelby County, where witnesses told police they heard multiple shots fired. Metro Police are looking for a driver who lost control of his Jeep and slammed into a house. This happened around 3 this morning. Police want to know how a man posing as an Air France pilot made it all the way past security and into a plane's cockpit. Investigators say this man right here on your screen. I'm standing on what was once called the shelter house. This was the roof of the shelter house. Police say 5 of these covers have been stolen from homes here in the past week. Easily, you can pick one of these up, walk away, and toss it in the back seat of your vehicle. Hey there, Susan. It's definitely complicating things for travelers. You know, Indy's known as the racing capital, but cars are moving slow, if at all, today. We are at the corner of Maryland and Capitol. It was a very chaotic scene. Folks in a jovial mood tonight right now, but that was not the case earlier. Our photographer was standing right here waiting to cross the street when those shots were fired. The bullets flew across the hood of our vehicle. Other people were in the area. They ducked for cover. As all of this happened, 2 sheriff's deputies were following behind a group of teens. Little did they know one of the 16-year-olds was packing heat. What started as a night of fun for LaShane Herring and her daughter.
Oh, very lucky. Very lucky. Bullets pretty much went right over our vehicles, so I feel very blessed.
Ended with terror.
There were tons of people running towards my car, so I stopped. And then I heard 3 gunshots, and then we started ducking down in the car.
We had to put him at gunpoint and order him to the ground. He refused. He fled northbound from us.
In the midst of the chaos, tunnels leading to the convention center took a hit. At least 3 teens were taken into custody. Members of 10 Point Coalition say something has to change. A curfew?
I believe that would be a great help. I'm a firm believer in the fact that, you know, we have some very out-of-the-box stuff going on right now, and that we're going to have to probably go to some non-traditional ways in order to curve it just a little bit more.
This time, so many downtown. Were you nervous?
No, not really. A little bit.
Walked away fortunate.
We are extremely, you want to call it luck, we're extremely blessed. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that your cameraman was pulling up, and I think when the shots were fired, I mean, that's just an incident. He could have been a fatality tonight.
It was her first time behind the wheel of a go-kart. It was also the start of a painful journey for Shelby Crouch.
The last thing I remember is being in the go-kart, holding onto the steering wheel, and that's it. I don't remember ever driving.
Crouch's long locks got gripped in the spinning axle at Whiteland Raceway. 80% of her scalp was ripped from her head. The brutal force of it left her with a traumatic brain injury, hearing loss, and a skull fracture.
This is my collection of bandanas.
Now, she wears a bandana to cover her bald head.
There are still days where I get down. I mean, there's not a day that doesn't go by that I don't look at myself in the mirror when I'm brushing my teeth or anything like that, and I just have glimpses of what I used to look like, and you know, yearn for that back.
Days after Shelby's accident, an IT-made investigation uncovered industry standards established in 2000 state that all rotating or heated parts of recreational go-karts should be covered. But the axles at Whiteland were exposed, and while industry standards exist, the state has no law that enforces them. Now, Shelby and her mom will push lawmakers for change.
Why is it our state that doesn't have such laws? It's just the duty of the state to make sure that each one of their citizens is safe while having fun.
I don't want another mother to ever have to go through this, and I don't want another person to have to go through what Shelby's been through.
When we first started stringing them around the wall,
Shelby hasn't been alone. Above her bed, get well cards from friends, family, and strangers form a cross. Still, she has tough days.
They're few and far between. They're getting there, at least.
She credits her faith in helping her get through those tough times. And it's why she's talking now, 9 months after her accident, about what happened.
People coming to me and saying, you know, Shelby, you're an inspiration. Your story is an inspiration. Because that doesn't, I try not let that go to my head. I mean, I give all the glory to God. I mean, without him, I wouldn't be here.
Tomorrow, she finishes a semester at IUPUI. Later this month, she will undergo a 5th surgery, and her medical bills, as you can imagine, are about $500,000 and still climbing. All of the men and women buried here were prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice. Some were killed while serving their country. Among the vets buried here, Michael Anderson.
The person who murdered my wife has been given military honors and buried in a national cemetery up in Michigan, and I'm very upset.
Anderson was a veteran, but police say he went on a shooting spree at Villa Prairie apartment complex in June. Alicia Kale, a wife and mother of 2, didn't survive.
We say, we love you, Mommy.
Now, her husband Paul and young children visit her gravesite every day. Paul says the man who ended his wife's life never should have been buried in this cemetery.
I'm extremely upset by the fact that he's been buried there, which is a violation.
The crux of the controversy centers around the rules for burial outlined by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. The guidelines say, in part, veterans aren't eligible for burial in a VA national cemetery. That's if there's clear and convincing evidence showing the veteran committed a federal or state capital crime but were unavailable for trial due to death or flight to avoid prosecution. Police say Anderson took his own life avoiding prosecution, but still he was buried here.
I've been told it was a mistake, and I've been told that the family either did not give all the information or they just lied about it.
When I contacted the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, they only released a statement saying, in part, officials found out about the crime after the burial was complete. The VA is reviewing the matter. Whatever the case, Paul Kale doesn't want it to happen to anyone else. He knows firsthand burying someone you love is hard.
I was not prepared for to be a single parent, so it's very challenging. I'm not afraid to tell anyone this. I always miss her cooking every day.
Nicole Porter says she wants to teach her kids and her husband a lesson. She is on strike and has this sign to prove it. Aretha Franklin sang about respect, and Nicole Porter posted this sign demanding it.
They just don't respect what I do around here as a full-time mom and a full-time housewife.
So this mother of 2 decided to strike. She let her family know by posting the sign in the front yard of their Franklin home.
I do a lot for them, and without me, they don't have the clean laundry, they don't have clean dishes, they don't have food on the table.
Porter's children, seen here, show cattle. When their clothes get dirty, the hamper overflows.
No, I'm not. I'll wait until somebody else starts it. This is part of my strike, and they can see how fast this accumulates on a day-to-day basis.
Strangers have been texting Porter showing support.
Said, you go.
But her typically affectionate husband,
he was not very happy. He took it out of the yard. In between jobs, he came home and took it out of the yard, and I came home and I put it right back out in the yard, and I told him if he touched my sign again, I would get something a little bit more permanent.
That was last week, but now?
He started putting the stuff in the dishwasher. A couple days later, he decided he'd start doing laundry because we were on our last towel, so he didn't have a way to take a shower.
At the end of the day, this sign signals her call to arms.
You know, my husband works hard every single day to pay for the house and everything, and I just want it to look nice all the time. You know, I just want to just show my family that I'm working hard here too, just like my husband's outside the home working hard.
And for those of you wondering, Porter is a stay-at-home mom. Her husband is a full-time firefighter and also runs his own business on the side. Meanwhile, I asked her how long she plans to strike, and she said she doesn't know.